Charlie Riverman Bergeron. This is my first attempt at a YouTube live video. It's the morning of the spring equinox here in Maine, and I just wanted to do this as a new beginning of my journey of being public, of being aware that there's a larger group of us who are now embracing transmutation on many levels. And so the amazing thing for me was I awoke between the sun and the moon this morning. The sun was just almost over at the horizon, and the moon was also almost at the horizon. And it was perfect balance. And I lay there and looked to the left, and the moon was this beautiful orange reddish ball, and the sun, the horizon, I couldn't see the sun yet, but was the same color, but rising just below the surface of what I could see. That golden light was totally surrounding, and it was a perfect balance. The message that came through that was, this is what we're entering now, is a time for us to think about perfect balance. What does perfect balance mean to us? How do we express that? How do we begin to embrace that in the midst of so much darkness and what appears to be as this disruption and destruction of our society, of our planet, of all of the things that we held as truth, as we begin to realize that we have been lied to by so many for so long. So interestingly, I was just going to go on Facebook and do some Kuan Yin cards for the day. And the first card I picked was number 43, which is the Veil of Shadows. And as I read that, I was guided to read number 44, and that was Weave the Future Golden. And I didn't read them. I really didn't read them. I pulled the cards and I said, Charlie, you just need to go on and say what comes from your heart. And it was perfect because it was the balance of the shadow and the light. And that's exactly what I experienced this morning. So thank you, guides, for allowing me to pull those two cards this morning. This balance between darkness and light has always been in play here in the third dimension. And we have just distorted it to the point where we no longer really know what darkness is, and we really don't know what light is. We pretend and we imagine and we tell stories, we create stories about it. And yet one doesn't exist without the other, because in order for them to exist for us as humans, we have to observe them. And if we're not observing the light and the dark, then they really don't exist to this human mind. This is the power of the ego mind, that it can see something and it can create a story about it, and then a week later create a different story that is the complete opposite. This is what we've been living in, a story, a time of storytelling, where if you didn't like somebody's story, you killed them. You erased their language. You told them they couldn't, that you destroyed their writings. And you rewrote everything over that until they believed it or died. And we've been doing this around the world in every culture. And what I saw this morning in the balance of this sun and the moon was nothing can be hidden anymore. The truth will rise from both sides. That in that balance, everything will be revealed. What does that mean for us? That means a great deal of letting go of old stories, of old programming, of teachings that many of us didn't believe when we were children, and many children around the world are not believing right now. And they are now rising to say, no, this is not the truth, and we're not going to take it. We're not going to allow this to happen. We see this in the rising of women into places of power around the world, where many of them are just becoming as patriarchal as the men, but most of them are coming from a new place of light and balance that says, we're not going to allow this to continue. This has to return to a balance of masculine and feminine energy. Here we are at the gateway. That's how I look at this solstice. I look at the solstice as the gateway of the future. Somebody wrote this morning in what I read that it wasn't time yet. And when I read that, I said, I don't want to read anymore. Because it is time. It's now. It's now when each one of us deepen our relationship within ourselves and pull through all of the muck, all of the darkness, all of the tragedy, all of the pain, the suffering that we've incurred in this lifetime, other lifetimes, and who knows how it comes through genetically from how many of our ancestors and how far back. It's our responsibility now to pull this through, not just wait till it rises, but to actively seek it out, pull it through, as painful as it may seem to be to our human mind. But eventually, the human mind will say, I've got a job. Thank you. I've got something to do. I'm no longer worrying about the next trinket or the next iPhone or the next blah, 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 or trying to balance my budget or all of this stupid stuff. I'm actually going to be working on a project that is grand. It's beyond the human mind's vision. This is what our minds need right now. They need the opportunity to be given to them, to be guided by our hearts in order to bring us through this period of rebalancing everything in this planetary existence. Each one of you have that power. Each one of you have chosen to be here at this time. Each one of you have a role in this. Whether you think you're weak, you're sick, you can't do it, what you think is a limited thought, because you've been trained to think limited thoughts. And when we start to realize that why we're limited in life on many levels, it comes right back to that thought process. We're playing the same old story over and over and over and over and over and over. And time now is to look at that story, watch it play through, watch the repetitiveness in it, and then make a new decision from our hearts to say, wow, no wonder the world and humanity is in the shape it's in. Doesn't matter what you focus on, because what you focus on is what has occurred repetitively in your life experience, your experience of living. And each one of us were given this opportunity to be here on this planet, to be in this physical body, to express ourselves as divine spirit in this physicalness. And the message came through this morning really loud and clear, is that yes, we are the light. And it's time to shine. So as my first home-based talk, I don't know how to check the time I've been on or anything. And I don't know how this all works and plays out. But this is my stepping into a new phase of spreading light and love and peace. I hope you heard the message in this. I hope I delivered it well. And I hope to see you more and more as I uncover myself, as I deepen into the light that I am, to shine it forth for others, to say, wow, I can do that too. You may not do what I do, but what you are here to do is divinely yours, and you chose to do it in a completely different existence, which this human mind has a very challenging time understanding. So be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself. If you're experiencing pain and suffering, allow yourself to do that. Know that in this clearing and cleansing process, we're in a cycle that is only as lengthy as we choose it to be. That in the midst of the shadows, in the midst of the darkness, we can weave the future golden. As I always say, I bless you. I bless you with this beautiful blessing. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. And we are unity. May the light that shines within me resonate with the light that shines within you. May we both and all shine together. Thank you for enduring this. I hope it wasn't painful. And I hope to do more of these impromptu chats. And I love you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.